I was asked to leave a business after building it for over 10 years because I was the key man. After being acquired, I eventually got let go. In this video, I'm going to break down what a key person is, how you can identify them in your business, why they're considered dangerous for your business, and why you probably should not get rid of them. I'm Ken. I'm the co-founder here at Clipflow, and I love building software. And our goal at Clipflow is to help 100,000 people grow their business using content. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about key man risk. So like I said, I got made redundant from the business that I would been building for over 10 years because I was considered key man or key person, as they say these days, key person risk, right? So over a 10-year period, my brothers and I built a business that eventually scaled to over 400 people. There's a long story behind how that all happened. Obviously, it was a long time. It became a big business. I was the CTO and I was in charge of building the tech platforms. We ran about 2 to 3 large software platforms that helped real estate agencies market properties. It's a big thing in Australia. So when we actually sold our company, I then joined the acquiring company. So the company that actually bought us, I joined the team there. I was a head of engineering is my new, I believe it was something like that. Oh, it wasn't head, it was director. Sorry, you get the nice director name. Director of engineering. And the whole reason you get a title like that in the corporate machine is so that you can get a pay bracket. So whatever I was getting paid, that was just so that I could maintain that. Now, as soon as I joined and as soon as we'd been acquired, obviously roles started changing real fast, right? I could no longer be CTO. Obviously, the company that bought us was very big, much bigger than me or much bigger than what we'd built. And they already had a CTO, right? So I couldn't keep my role as CTO in that new company. But what I did keep doing was I kept maintaining. So I was in charge of maintaining what we had built. There's a lot of knowledge built in that obviously I had acquired over 10 years of building something from nothing to the end. So, I was a key man. That's totally fair. Right. So this is our business here, 400 people plus. And then we got eaten by even bigger business, right? Lots bigger. They just came and they just went, yum, yum, yum. So within the first couple of months, there was a long period of time where I had to get used to this, right? I'd just given up, for me, what was, I would consider like my baby, right? Like it sounds weird to say, but it's a piece of software. It's your identity. You've been doing it for so long. It's part of you. Now, I was still working on the product, but a lot of decision making got taken away very quickly for us, right? So we no longer could make the calls we used to. Like we were very agile. We could just do things and that's how we operated for a long time. Obviously, which it makes perfect sense. You can't do this when you get bought out. It just doesn't. You're giving that up in exchange for money. And that's a whole nother topic that I will go into one day. So after, about 6 months into this journey, I had kind of figured out my place in this new world. I believed I could give a lot to help because there were a lot of other issues in the company that I believe we could also fix with software. Like I said, I love building things with software. So I could see problems and I was like, we can fix this. So I really was starting to find new purpose and direction. And then things suddenly took an unexpected turn, right? This is the best. So one day, walking down the road here, just my manager reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to go for a walk?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's like quite a corporate thing to do, is like just going for a walk. If you've been there, you've done that before. But he literally just floated to me and was like, "Hey, we're thinking of making you redundant, right?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he was like, "Yeah, the reason is because you're a key man." This took me by absolute surprise because I had just reframed my mind because I was kind of like, mindset is a big thing, right? So if I was bought in, I bought myself in mentally. I was like, I'm going to do this and this is why I'm going to enjoy what I do. I no longer own the company, but I'm going to give all I can to the new company. But then this one got hit on me, right? So that's kind of a little bit of a background of why we're talking about this today. So yeah, came as a big shock. I was like, okay, I guess so. I was very surprised and I was like, why would you get rid of a key man? If I'm a key man, why would you just get rid of me? That doesn't really seem like a solution to the problem. We'll dive into that a little bit later. The most important part before we even get going, so we're talking about the same things, is what is a key person? What does that actually mean in real life, right? So the definition of a key person or key person risk is the potential for financial and operational disruption to a business due to the loss of a critical individual, such as a founder. So that was me, executive or employee with unique skills or knowledge who is central to the company's success, right? And it's these things. Now, their absence caused by illness. So I think this is really key. It's not just the fact, a lot of people think, oh, key man risk, they might just leave. But it's illness, resignation, death, which I friggin' hope doesn't happen to anyone, or other circumstances could significantly halt operations, reduce value, and impact reputation as their contributions, relationships, and expertise are irreplaceable by other staff members. All right? There's obviously a fundamental problem here. And this happens to when you're a founder of a business. I go into it further, but it's one of these things I think is almost unavoidable as you go. So that's the key. That is what a key person is. Realistically, is if any of these things apply, then there's a problem. And usually what this happens in acquisition, right? So when we do acquisition, people get lots of money, right? Like a nice bag of cash, and they go, I'm out, right? That's what happens. That's usually why people are it's really important to look out for this when you're buying a company. And it makes perfect sense, right? Now, so this leads us straight into why is it dangerous? Motivation. If they lose motivation, your business suffers. Motivation goes down, then business goes down. And if you've just forked out a whole bunch of cash for something, you do not want this, right? You do not want this because you've just basically taken all that money and just burning it. So this is why key man risk is not good, right? So you don't really want a key piece of your business to be run by a person who has all the knowledge, right? So, for instance, we have, in this current business, we have editors, right? And editors are key to our production of content. And what does that mean as a business for us? Well, the production of content is our marketing, right? It's the way that we are sharing information. We're building brand. We're building a reputation with fans of ours so they can actually see how we operate because we want to give away a lot of value. And then in turn, hopefully people use our software. That is why we do content. That's why anyone does content, if we're perfectly honest about it. Now, if we had one of these, if this person gets sick or leaves, they leave, and we only had one, we're cooked because now our whole marketing pipeline stops, right? And that would be considered a key person. So how would you get around this just quickly in a business like this? You get multiple, right? You just get multiple and you have editors, not an editor. So that's how you can get around like little problems. This is like, you just need to identify them in your business. And if you can solve that, you can reduce the risk, right? That's all it is. It's about risk. Now, for businesses that are trying to exit, the acquiring companies do not like this. As you're selling your company or getting ready to position yourself in that, you want to be constantly replacing yourself with other people. And now I believe you can't replace yourself with one other person because then they're just an employee and actually they're going to care less than you do. And sometimes what I found personally is when I got bought out, I actually felt like I owed it to the company to do the best job because they just done something for me. Now I wanted to give back. Now, obviously it depends on people. Everyone's different, but in general, employees don't have as much skin in the game as a founder because they're just employed by the company and they get a salary and they might align with the mission. But, when the company's bought out, the mission might change and they might not be aligned to that anymore and they can find a salary somewhere else. Whereas a founder, if they're really bought into the mission and if the company that acquires them continues that mission, they actually have a lot of incentive to stay, right? And this is where you see things like earn-out periods and stuff where companies kind of incentivize the founders to stay along by performing at a certain level. So the key reasons, I guess, is risk needs to be spread out across multiple people. We're talking about people here. It's a key person risk. So it needs to be spread out across multiple people. And knowledge needs to be documented. If it's not, it's super dangerous, right? So you can see why it is dangerous and why people would want to eliminate key man risk or key person risk. All right. Moving on from that, this is a little bit of a spicy take that old mate Ken has here, which is why you shouldn't get rid of them. Right? I just feel, this is my feelings, right? I don't think you can actually replace key person risk, just straight up, because who's going to care? You need the care factor, right? Someone has to care about this thing. And I think founders really do, right? It's very hard to find other people, like I just said, that care about it. What I'm saying is you shouldn't get rid of them, but you definitely can reduce risk. I think this is key. I think this is the thing that we want to be focusing on, not getting rid of them. Because getting rid of them, you're ultimately chucking away all that knowledge. That's the opposite of what you're doing. What you're really doing is you are accelerating the problem you actually were afraid of. So it's actually counterintuitive, right, to get rid of them. We definitely want to reduce, though. This is key. So the first thing I would recommend is, so we want to identify key person risk really early. And to be honest, in the beginning, when you're building a business or as you're building a business, it's going to be you, right? You're that person, you and your core team, right? Those are the people that have the most, are going to realistically be the core or the key person risk. It's these people. So if it's you, right? So it's you, how do we get around this? So what we need to do is we need to document, right? This is something that we need to do a lot. Obviously, when you're starting a business, you don't have that much time. So you're struggling to just stay ahead. But by documenting, you actually allow other people to take over the thing. So this is something that we're doing in Klipflow early on. Is like we're documenting everything. We're using tools like Loom, right? And what that allows us is to do video documentation. So we can literally walk through the process, record it, and share it with the team. And it's there now for everyone. And Loom does a great job of like transcribing it. So it's all like text. You can find it really easily. I think that is one way you can start reducing the risk very quickly. Right? So document processes. The next one that I'm a big fan of is speak in the open, in public. I'll call it public. It's not really public. It's public in the company. So in Slack and all these messaging tools, everyone does like DMs. We don't do DMs, right? DMs is for like just chats that's not business critical. Anything that you're trying to determine a process, or you're trying to share information or knowledge, or you're trying to say to someone, like I even do this in like engineering. We do this in our content channels. We say like, don't do this thing. And you put it in a public forum for everyone in your team to see, because then you don't like have to repeat yourself. Everyone gets to consume that, and there's nothing lost in DMs. Like if you're telling one editor one thing and then you tell another one in the DM and another in DM and DM, you can just share that in public and everyone can just like see it, and then even create a conversation around it. So speak in the open, speak in public. That's another way you can do. And then also finally is like plan for it. What we want to do here is we want to train other people. In our business in the past, like I was CTO. I wrote a lot. I don't want to make up numbers, but I wrote a majority of like the large features, right? So the big features in the system. So I had that knowledge, right? And the most complicated pieces of the complex things I owned, right? Went to me. Now that was a problem because I was the only one that knew it. And that was because no one really stepped up to the plate. I tried to share this as I was leaving the business. I was trying to like dump my knowledge, but unfortunately everyone had stuff on, no one was around and couldn't actually sit in to learn. And they weren't, to be fair, they weren't really interested because they're like, why do I care about this? I was trying to give it off, but this is where you want to like hand off this knowledge constantly. So you want to be training people. And something that I should have done from the beginning, but it's very difficult. We just didn't have like really high level, like we were starting from nothing. So we didn't have like big money for salaries and stuff. So we kind of hired a junior team, and like by the time they got up to skill, it was like too late. So we ended up in this weird cycle. But like if you are building a tech company or you're building a business in general, find people and then try and train them into it and kind of replace yourself. I think the whole goal is like replace yourself. Like if you take out anything here, it's like replace yourself constantly. And this is the role of a founder, is master something and then replace yourself. And if you replace yourself, it means you know what to teach other people. Teaching people is going to actually give you more knowledge anyway. And then also, you're going to be able to educate. And if you educate one person, you can educate another person by documenting, and you can just keep doing that, right? But I do believe you're always going to have key man risk or key person risk as a founder. You are going to be that. No one else is ever going to care as much as you do about your business. That is just, people say that. Like, I think as founders, we can get frustrated. Like, why aren't they working as hard as me? Why don't they care as much? It's like, because it's your thing, right? You made this. You make this. So why does someone else care as much as you? They won't. They just won't. They'll care about their business. You can get them to care a lot. You can buy them in when they get more bought into the vision and stuff. That's why vision and stuff's so important. But ultimately, you are the only person that cares, right? You are going to be that person, unfortunately. But at the same time, that's fine as long as you're constantly replacing and teaching other people so that you can step away and it runs. And it's very important if you are looking to exit that you do this. So if you can do that early on, it makes it easier to do. You don't have to wait around for that extra year. You could just exit because you're like, yeah, I'm not a key man. Like I add a lot to this business. I add a lot of strategy. But if you're a big company and you've got better strategists than me, and you've got better execution than me, then you can just take this thing and go. So to recap, I think it's really important to identify key person risk early on. Find out if it's you, which most likely will be. Documenting the processes so that knowledge can be transferred across the team very easily. Don't like hide it. Make it very easy to surface that. And with AI these days, it's so much easier to do. Speak in the open. Speak in public. Do not DM with any critical information. That information that is like business processes and business wide needs to be shared in public forum in your company. Set a plan to train and build more people to the same level. So you want to build them up so that they can also make those decisions. Teach people how to make decisions. I think that's more important than like knowing like what are the steps to do this, but like how come we are doing this? Why did we get to this decision? Because that's going to help them also in the future when there's something that's outside the box. They can go and say like, well, why do we decide like this? This is why we do it. So they will generally end up in the same place. Like I said, you're always going to have key man risk as a founder, and that's fine. In the end of the day, that's what makes you you. That's what makes your business really good. You're the special sauce in the end of the day. So when a company comes in, you just have to figure out how you can translate it. And hopefully you can go along with and actually keep building your company. Now, I would like to hear what you guys think about key person risk, how you address it in your businesses, what you've seen in the past, what works, what doesn't work. So please just drop it in the comments. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe to the channel because we are releasing more and more business content, marketing content, trying to help, other businesses navigate these kind of problems as they grow and the things we've seen going from 0 to 400 and basically exiting at 180 mil. There are a lot of lessons to learn and we have a lot to share. So if you do like these videos, let us know and share them with other people. If you think it helps them, share it with them so they can prep themselves for their hopefully great exit in the future. But until next time, catch you on the next one.